Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Randi Putra Alamsyah. I'm from Indonesia and I'm from Sharif Hidayatullah State Islamic University, and my partner Dedi Masri from Indonesia also, and he from State Islamic University of North Sumatra. In this video, I will briefly present our article entitled Force Majeure in the Case of Abortion, a Review of the Fatwa of Ulama and the Health Law in Indonesia, published in the Malaysian Journal of Sharia and Law. Abortion remains a highly controversial issue in many Muslim societies, including Indonesia. On the one hand, classical Islamic jurisprudence generally prohibited abortion because it is seen as violating the sanctity of human life. On the other hand, contemporary discussion recognize certain exceptional situations, such as threat to the mother's life or pregnancy result from rape, where more flexible rulings are considered. In Indonesia, abortion is strictly regulated by Health Law number 36 of 2009, which allow the procedure only in limited circumstances, such as life-threatening condition for the mother or pregnancy due to rape, and even then within a narrow gestational window. At the same time, access to safe and legal abortion service is constrained by cultural, legal, and religious factors, and strong stigma of the insurance woman who seeks abortion. Against this backdrop, the Indonesian Women's Ulama Congress, or KUPI, issued a fatwa allowing abortion for rape victims without gestational egg restriction. This fatwa is intended to protect women from severe psychological trauma and to affirm their right to safety and dignity in the face of sexual violence. Our article asks a central question: how should the KUPI fatwa on abortion for rape victims without gestational age limit be understood when viewed through the lens of force majeure, Maqasid Sharia, and Indonesia Health Law? More specifically, analyzes the theological and legal argument behind the KUPI fatwa, examine its consistency and tension with Indonesia positive law, especially Health Law number 36 of 2009, and explore the medical, social, and ethical implication of permitting abortion in such emergency context. This research adopts a qualitative approach using discourse analysis. We focus on the official fatwa document issued by KUPI obtained through the KUPIpedia platform as our primary data. These texts are analyzed to uncover their underlying argument, assumption, and normative framework. We complement this with secondary sources, including books, scientific articles, and legal documents on abortion and emergency situation, particularly from the perspective of Islamic law, health law, and human rights in Indonesia. This allows us to situate the KUPI fatwa within broader social, legal, and ethical debate on abortion. In our analysis, we clarify two key concepts. The first, abortion is discussed both in medical and Islamic legal terms. Medically, it is defined as the deliberate termination of pregnancy before the fetus reaches viability. For example, before 24 weeks, or when the fetus weighs less than 500 grams, as stated by the World Health Organization. In Islamic law, various terms such as isqat, ijhad, and ilqa refer to removing the fetus from the womb before it is perfectly developed. The second one, force majeure, is understood as a compelling or unavoidable emergency situation in which an act that is normally prohibited might become permitted because failing to act would lead to greater harm. Applied to abortion, force majeure refers to critical medical or psychological condition where continuing the pregnancy poses and serious risk to the mother's health or life. We also place our discussion within the framework of Maqasid Sharia, especially the protection of life, hifzan nafas, and lineage, hifzan nasl or hifzan nasab, and classical legal maxim that prioritize avoiding greater harm when two harm are in conflict. Our findings show that Kufi fatwa emerges from the genuine concern to protect rape victims, particularly from deep and long-lasting psychological trauma. It frames forced pregnancy as a form of tyranny and emphasizes the state obligation to ensure fair and safe health service for women in such emergency. However, we argue that by allowing abortion without any gestational age limitation, the fatwa places a very strong emphasis on psychological protection while giving comparatively less explicit attention to other crucial dimensions such as medical risk of late-term abortion, including heavy bleeding, infection, uterine damage, and increased maternal mortality, and the developmental status of the fetus, especially after the commonly recognized 120-day threshold, legal inconsistency with Health Law number 36 of 2009, which restricts abortion and rape cases to within 40 days from the last menstrual period. We also compare the Kufi fatwa with response from Bahsul Masail FMPP and MUI fatwa. Bahsul Masail explicitly reject the Kufi position, arguing the risks of maternal safety in many cases are still speculative, that psychiatric reason might not justify taking fetal life, and that legislation might open the door to wider social problems, including the normalization of adultery. Meanwhile, MUI fatwa generally prohibited abortion but allowed in the narrowly defined emergency, such as when the mother's life is clearly threatened, reflecting an attempt to balance the right of the mother and the fetus within both national and international legal standards. Taken together, our analysis suggests that although the Kufi fatwa is well-intentioned and victim-oriented, its broad permissibility without gestational limit risks producing greater negative impact, medically, legally, and socially, if not accompanied by a more holistic and carefully defined framework. In conclusion, our article called for a more integrative approach to abortion in emergency case, especially for rape victims. We argue that the policy and fatwa should not rely solely on the principle of necessity, but must also systematically incorporate robust medical evidence and risk assessment, clear alignment with health law and human rights standards, and the core objective of Maqasid Sharia, particularly the protection of both women and potential life. This requires sustained dialogue and collaboration between ulama, medical professional, legal expert, and policymaker, so that the right, dignity, and safety of women are protected, while moral and religious concerns are also properly respected. And the last, thank you for watching this video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.